Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, November 10th, 2025. Glad to be with you this morning. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm the founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Glad to be with you even early on a Monday morning. I usually do this on Sunday evening. The reason I did not do it Sunday evening is because we were still getting headlines regarding the government shutdown and possibly being over with. Maybe a deal is being set up, apparently within the Senate, to reopen the government and kind of get things back on track, let's just say. It is not a procedural vote from what I read. 10 senators from the Democratic Party joined in the Republicans to pass or to vote on legislation to get the government reopened by the House of Representatives. All money starts with the House. Remember that. House of Representatives, all money bills start there. So that still needs to be approved there. I don't think there's a guarantee there, but still some good news, obviously, in terms of the government shutdown front. Dow futures, stock futures are up in that. So 170 points on the Dow, up 1.36% on the Nasdaq, S&P up 0.86%, the Russell's up 1%, gold is up nearly 2%, and crude is up 0.15%. The dollar is actually flat, 99.63, with the VIX down 1.47. I would prefer the VIX to be down a little more if we're up this much. I prefer the dollar to be a little lower as well, stay below 100. Gold being higher, that's probably a breakout of a zone. We're going to talk about that here soon. But let's go ahead and start with the S&P 500 futures. I went ahead and told our futures members about it. 68.20 was my first alert. It did break it. It did break it this morning, actually overnight. I went ahead and put an alert at 68.25. If that does break, that'll clear the recent highs around 68.20, the session highs, and probably give us an actual shot to get us to around 68.65, possibly 6900. The only concern is that I don't know if it'll be today, if we get it today or not. We would need a little more clarity in terms of the government shutdown or government reopening, let's just say. Instead of kicking the can on the line, we'd probably need some better news than just waiting for another vote in December. Again, that's only what 6 weeks away towards the end of December, so we need a little more something a little more concrete for the stock market to go a little higher. But as we could see, we do have the trend line here breaking out there. So a couple levels I want you to take a look at. First off, we're going to take a look at S&P spot. This is SPX spot. So you're not going to see any pre-market pricing here on this one, just for the fact that it'll show at 9:30 open. And you can see that we did break above the 50-day moving average. Nice daily candle there. Looks like the writing was on the wall on that closing candle. 65.47 was my support. We retested there back on the 10th of October. So that was kind of our support level to look for anyways. Looks to see that we're bouncing there. Good stuff all around to see that. Let's take a look at NASDAQ futures. And you could see that candle here, the 50-day, that bounce. That's our clear support right here. So every time we've touched that, well, last 3 times, 1, 2, and 3, back in April 30th, September 2nd, and October 10th, we have bounced off that 50-day moving average. So in my opinion, I think the worst is done for November. And kind of the news, everything's kind of setting up for the next 6 weeks, whether it be continued rise in tech or just continued rise in index prices. Again, we just need the environment to be satisfactory enough to cultivate continued rising prices. Reopening the government would be nice. That would be a really great start. So I did put a little more info on that on our market watch regarding some charts and some things that I see. So you could see some more clues that November and December could be strong. Take a look at our market watch. More details there, guys. So that's NASDAQ and S&P. So again, expecting higher there. Let's take a look at gold for my futures traders. And I had an alert yesterday at 40.60. It did break above there, but it actually happened overnight. So I can't stay up all night. But you could see here, this trend line here breaking. 40.88, 4100 possibly next. Sure, we can use that as our resistance moving forward. Again, it is up 2%. So we need a confirmation of a breakout on gold. But again, being up nearly 2%, tough to chase here. The move was overnight. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 5-minute chart to see exactly at what times did we get the move. So Monday right at midnight is where we got that push from 40.58 to 40.60. You can, let me go ahead and bring this up here. See, boosting here, rejected 40.60, got an alert at 40.70, but for a little more confirmation, but bias looks to be a breakout at 41.50. This is at 8:33 last night. So yeah, I guess if I would have stayed up at midnight, gotten the push to 40.80 here from 40.58, would have been up maybe about a good 20 points, maybe a little higher now. Looks like we're getting some consolidation. 4,100 looks to be next. Again, it's still early. I don't think there's a need to do anything at this very moment. But again, our students, our traders, in our futures, our futures group, make sure to put this in your notes, all these levels, because it's going to help you in the future. Now you can always review this video at your own time. Okay, so we had S&P and gold. I went ahead and also put where we are in terms of our options positions. Totally cool. I went ahead, so that's on, on market watches and charts. They have so many channels. I want to make sure everything's there. So our watches is there. UAL, JPM, Google, AMD, ExxonMobil are all on there. Put some notes on Palantir, Intel, and Wells Fargo. So if you are an options signals member, make sure to take a look at that. We also sent out a article this week on Meta, why we call this as a buy at 600 to 610. And the reason why too long didn't read is right here. This is your monthly candle chart, not channel, chart. And you could see that beautiful bounce right off of 599.95. That is your 20-month moving average. We have not been below the 20-month since March of 2023. And the only time we've been below it was 2022. We've been above that really since, a couple drops here and there. You can see the end of 2018, which was one of the worst trading environments of my career, was December 2018. And then, of course, you had COVID 2020, the big drop. See that month, those big monthly drop candles? They've usually been pretty good levels to buy, except for a couple of times, let's just say. Sometimes it just gets a little worse. But Meta still in an upside trend. More details on the website, www.gar.capital. Of course, do your own research, but I'm looking forward to Meta in a 12-month period to go higher. So it's not a trade, it's more of a 12-month view of the stock. And I do like Metaverse. Let's see if they do give us a stock split. All right. So if you guys remember last week, I went ahead and went over a ton of earnings, right? So let's go over each one and let's go over where Carlos was right and where Carlos was wrong. The first one is Palantir. And I said here at 185, buy the dip. Well, I did not buy that at 185. I bought the dip. Actually used the 20-day. Actually, 185, I did buy the dip. Yeah. Was it? Oh, funny. The 20 days, 185, basically what I said. And we got there and we're now bouncing off this trend line. Timing was not the best because we broke below it. But I still like Palantir for higher. Yeah, even though the valuation's crazy, artificial intelligence is still a big deal. It was such a drop so quickly. I know Michael Burry was short. When he announced that, everything went down. I think that was more of a coincidence than anything else, which is fine. But you could see this upward trend line here, still holding up. Palantir hit 207, then pulled back. You do have a gap to fill at 201. So we'll use that as the target, 201 for the next 3 months, 4 months, let's just say. Maybe by the end of December. We will see. All right, let's take a look at HIMS. Talked about this last week. HIMS, I said bullish off the 50-week. Here's your 50-week, and it broke down below. So not doing great at the moment, but up this morning. So we will keep an eye on HIMS. It's one of our top 10 of 2025, excuse me. 2026, our top 10 will be released in January. I know everyone's excited about that. That'll be coming soon. All right, let's take a look at Uber. I said above 100 is what the expectation is. We pulled back right at 100.5. So this is the third time we've been at Uber. Uber has been a stock that I recommended earlier this year for the target of 100. Technically, it went there. So can't say I'm wrong, but you could see we're just not getting that momentum above. So tons of supply okay, or resistance at 100. Once we break that, I think Uber is home. Eventually we will. Obviously, it's always timing. So I still like Uber above 100, just not anytime soon. We already polished off the earnings report. Let's take a look at Shop. I said neutral on this one, possible by the dip. Let's take a look at the daily. It is at the 50. Nice bounce or below the 50. Now you're back above it. This looked pretty bad for a little bit, especially after the big run it had up. And you can see now we do have a gap to fill at 129.65. So be wary on Shopify. I would think Shopify needs to get above 165, which is the 20-day before we do any kind of upside trading. This gap here is a concern. And the reason I say that is even a great company that's been a long time around, Oracle filled its gap and they got one more too. So you could see that Shop may be under a little bit of stress, but it's bouncing at least now. Let's take a look at Spotify. Spotify is pulling back. And I went ahead and put higher on Spotify. It is up this morning with the rest of the market. It needs to get above 650. If it does, then yes, we can start taking a look at 700 to 750. Pfizer, I went ahead and said neutral. It is bouncing today. I did buy an obesity drug. I think it closed the deal. It basically was a drug maker that was getting bid by Novo Nordisk and Pfizer as well. So Pfizer got the deal, apparently. And that's why the stock is moving slightly higher today. It was a little higher earlier at 25.16. Pretty neutral. Yeah, as you could see, just nothing. Nothing to go by. So I can't really say, oh, I was right or anything because there's really nothing to do. Not on Pfizer, anyways. Pfizer looks to be dead money for a little bit. That's where it just chops around. IBM was there for like 7 years. Pfizer is there now. All right, AMD 240 DMA by the dip. That's where I said here. All right, the 40 DMA, that's 243. That's your by the dip level. But I went ahead and posted something on the watch list and charts. The one thing that was kind of concerning to me watching this. Left shoulder, head, possible right shoulder. So let's go ahead and take a look at AMD. And again, just keep an eye, kind of focus on what I'm looking at. Left shoulder, head, possible right shoulder. So my concern is that if we get to 220, let's say 220. If we get to 220, I want to short this. Again, your left shoulder, your head, possible right shoulder. If we break above 243, then it's negated and we're going to go higher. But this trend line is a little bit concerning. This pop is a little concerning. We may just retest that. So AMD, I'm kind of watching for a possible short. Again, that might take a little bit time to come to fruition. But if it does break out, at least we have at least some upward expectation on AMD. SMCI was one that I liked above 60. That rejected. So that one was definitely where Carlos was wrong. But good thing that I did have my alerts placed. I didn't get long or anything in terms of calls. 1, 2, 3. Triple top, let's say. I don't believe in triple tops. It's going to break. The problem is that now you're below the trend line and below the 200 day. So a nice bounce and out at 41, got to get above 43.35. That's your 200 day. If you can get above there, maybe we could start talking about getting to 50 or 55. I still think SMCI has more upside room to go. It'll break beyond 60. Just need a little bit more momentum. And the last couple weeks, we haven't had any. Upstart, yep, bit messy. So it looks like in terms of earnings, my expectation was downside. And looks like I was right. Big deal. I didn't get to trade it, so I can't really celebrate too much. 45 to 38. Are we at some kind of support on Upstart? Looks like it, yeah. Yeah, no surprise it's bouncing here. 1, 2, double, maybe triple bottom here. I don't believe in triple bottoms. I don't believe in triple tops. It's going to break. 2483 is your next downside alert on Upstart. That is your gap to fill from the July earnings report. But to get there, we need to break this major level of support here, as you can see. So can't say I'm too excited or too gung-ho to trade this name because you also have a upside gap here at 44.65 on Upstart. So rather neutral now. The move's already been made. Let's take a look at pins. Pins was ugly. Yeah, I don't think I was bullish on this one. Uh, you can see that pullback here, this gap here. Now it's bouncing a little bit, sure. $24, that'll be your next level of support. And if you are looking to buy the dip or play the bounce on it, the gap to fill is 32. I don't think it's worth touching here. I think there's way other trades that are, way other stocks that have more momentum than Pinterest at this moment that are probably better off for trading. McDonald's holding that trend line. Didn't break, but I said bearish 285, 290. Did we get there? Yeah, I got to 295 and then it bounced to 310 and it's just been stuck. So pretty much neutral at the moment. Let's go ahead and zoom out on McDonald's and we are at 299. I'm going to place the alert at 292. If that breaks, it's a short. Yeah, it's a short down to 280, possibly even further. But again, we're just using the trend line here for a breakdown. Still going around the horn here. Airbnb, I said bearish to 100. Did we get there? All right, pulled back a little bit. So 120 to 120, 128 to 120 it showed here. No, 117 was the lows. And then the earnings came out to what? Green, 123. Yeah, so just one really short candle. Probably killed options traders. And then you had the red on Friday with a little bit of a boost back. So anything here in terms of edge on Airbnb, in my opinion, isn't to be found yet. We would need to break below, we'll call it 115. Nice round number. Well, not really a round number, nice even number. Is 115 even? Thinking to myself, is 115 even? Okay. A nice even number without decimal points. How's that? 115 on Airbnb. If that breaks, then we're looking for shorts on that as well. All right, still going around the horn of all the earnings that I talked about this past week and what we can look for. Robinhood, bullish right off of 123. Now it's at 135. That's a great sign. We'll bring it up in the 4-hour. Nice bounce. I actually like Robinhood here. Oh, we'll get above 155. Remember, Robinhood, we've been long since 56. And Datadog, bullish above 70. I think that thing soared. Or above 170, sorry. 170 was the breakout. It got there, 193. It's not like you're chasing this at this moment, but Datadog, good on them. And that's where we were for the past earnings. Let's take a look at earnings for this week. And just a reminder that, oh, did I have the wrong earnings? Maybe forward the earnings. Give me 1 second. I did not forward it to earnings calendar. All right, perfect. All right, team. Let's take a look at the earnings calendar for this week. Instacarts before the open. I don't trade that. CoreWeave reports after the bell. I can't say I trade that either. Oklo, I don't trade either, but obviously they're nuclear. That's part of NLR. Cisco, Disney, Red Cat, JD, Nucor, Applied Materials. So again, we could see that we're starting to kind of run out of earnings. Earnings catalyst. The big one's going to be next week, team. That's NVIDIA. So let's do a quick one. A couple with CoreWeave. They report today after the bell. So here we are in the daily. Anything to go by here? Around 85 support. So again, it's up this morning. You do have a slight gap at 125. We'll bring up the hourly. I don't see anything to do here on CoreWeave, especially with earnings coming up. So we'll skip that, at least for this moment in time. We can take a look at it tomorrow. Let's see. Cisco. They report on Wednesday. This is a name that I have been watching for a while. It finally got above 70, thankfully. Had calls on that thing, but you could see this upward beautiful channel. It's been holding up and now we're pulling back, kind of testing the top range of that. So this is going to be key because if this pulls back here, we may just get back down and just start chopping around. We want to stay above at least 70. And if we do get above 75, it'll be 80 next. So Cisco, dot-com bubble, down, down, down. Look how many years it took to just recover the dot-com bubble. Almost a little over 25 years now. Will this week be the week that Cisco recaptures the dot-com bubble highs? How about Bank of America? And they do not report this week or anything like that. They already did. But imagine them since the 2008 financial crisis or the highs of before the financial crisis. Bank of America is barely just getting back. Takes time. Takes time indeed. Let's take a look at Disney. They report this week on Thursday after the bell. Anything here to go by, really? Got a couple gaps. I'll give you that. One here at 106, one down here at 93. Just looks like a bunch of chop. I would not want to touch it. And if I were to do anything with it, I think it's a short down to 105. But I wouldn't want to risk money on that one. I'd rather just wait. AMAT, Applied Materials, semiconductor space, get above 240. This is a long. We'll go 240 here. And you got 255 as your next target. So yeah, above 240, it's a bull. And just trying to look around the earnings calendar for anything special. Nope, that's about it. All right, so we went over last week's video in terms of the earnings calls, what I was expecting, went over some of the earnings today, went over some futures, went over some options. So looks like we are all ready to go. Happy Monday. Reminder, tomorrow the stock market is open, even though schools are closed. It's a bank holiday, so bond market's closed. That's Veterans Day tomorrow, November 11th. We will still be here on the radio, on Discord, so we will see you on the server. Have a great rest of your Monday morning. And if you are a member of our armed services in the United States, thank you so much for your service. We really do appreciate you all. Thank you so much for honoring and serving our country here in the United States. Have a great rest of your week. We will catch you guys on the Discord server. Cheers all.